Welcome, everybody, to the X Factor podcast. We are just 10 days removed out of my last episode. I told you guys I wasn't going to be recording anytime last week. I didn't record anytime last week. But that doesn't change the fact that I'm still going to get my Summerslam review in today. So, we got Summerslam to talk about, the weekly awards, plus Monday Night Raw. And some other news. First match, Logan Paul versus Ricochet. That match, I think it proved something to Ricochet and Logan Paul. Logan Paul, in my eyes, I don't care what anyone says, he is one of the most talented guys on the roster right now. And if he was full-time, he'd be champion right now. A full-time champion that's a heel. Ricochet. Promos ain't there. Wrestling ability, he shows what he can still do some of those type of things. And hopefully we get to see some push out of Ricochet now, since he did the job for Logan Paul, But I also came to a conclusion here. When Logan Paul faced mid-card guys, he's going to win. But if he faces like the main event stars, he's going to lose. Let's just be honest. That's just how it's going to go. But I don't mind that. Logan Paul, people can hate on him. And I was one of them for a while. But after SummerSlam, he really earned my respect with that right there. He can actually be like a mega star. If he would ever want to go full-time. Which I don't think he would. He has so much other stuff in life. And if you're a professional wrestler, you pretty much got to drop everything and do that particular thing. But he is truly amazing. And Ricochet, like I said, he's amazing too. But the finish of the match, I did not really like. I didn't see the point of him using the brass knucks to win, unless, Payback or Fastlane comes around and he, Ricochet wants his rematch. Who knows? Or they're going to wait until the Rumble or something for that. Or they're just going to keep building this up until Mania and they have a rematch at WrestleMania. Who knows? So I don't see why they need to have that finish go the way they did. But if there is a build up to that, then it would all end up being fine. But if there is no build up to it after that, then there's no point of having that. So overall, good match. Brock Lesnar versus Cody Rhodes. And the second match of the night. And a very, very slow match. It started off with Brock demolishing Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes came back and won the match. And people are arguing about the steel step spot where he hit him with the steel steps, arguing if that should be disqualification. And there is sometimes that in a match where a referee will let some things slide during a big match. This is obviously a big match, so maybe the ref would just say let it slide kind of thing. But if this was just a regular match, yes, that probably would have been disqualification. For how slow the match went, I think it was perfect for Brock because you could have seen Brock was just sweating everywhere. He was just sweating and dying. So if they would have went fast, he would have been, gasping for air by 7 minutes, The match lasted 17 minutes because of how slow they went, which I think it was good on how they went with that. And Cody Rhodes ended up with the win. For how slow the match was, I thought the match was pretty good. And really, what's next for Cody, I do not know because we're talking about Monday Night Raw after this. So, and then we got the Slim Jim Battle Royal. And there's 24 people that were announced. The 25th man ended up being Omos. I was not expecting Omos. I was expecting Bobby Roode, Gargano, Randy, any of those type of guys. So, LA Knight won the Battle Royal. There's nothing really much to say. LA Knight won the Battle Royal. And I could feel, and when that happened on Saturday, I felt like this could be a major push coming for LA Knight. And Monday Night Raw somewhat proved my point, which I'll talk about here in a little bit. You know, it also causes for a couple more rivalries that put in there. Like Cross and AJ, they've been going at it. Cross cost him the match. I really hope Cross does beat AJ on Friday, because AJ has beaten him, I think, every time. So, I just hope that happens. So, then we get to the worst match of the card: Ronda Rousey for Shayna Baszler. Coming into it, apparently there were issues about the rules for the MMA rules match. And, you know, I can understand why, because they're not actually in MMA, but if they were going to have issues like that about the match, why didn't we just have a fight pit match between them two? A fight pit match would have been perfect for both of them, and we didn't have to have this shenanigans. You know, match was awful. I feel bad for Shayna, because Shayna is, in my opinion, the most dangerous woman in WWE. Who gives a damn what Ronda Rousey says? Ronda Rousey is now leaving WWE after this, so her second run in WWE was the first half with the Rumble and up to Backlash. It was alright. The last year has not been the best. So there's not really much of a miss for Ronda leaving. There's nothing really much for her to do. She's not that great in the ring. Mic-wise, she's not the best either. Overall, I think the match was just bad. It was just really bad. And I've really wanted, and you guys see me a lot before the last episode, before I went on break. I mentioned about the women's division and how they need to, do something with it, and they did something. They tried doing something with it. It wasn't really the best thing for that. And if I'm being honest, they could have had Trish and Becky for that. Just throwing that out there, but they didn't. So, Gunther versus Drew McIntyre in an Intercontinental title match. And when I say that's European professional wrestling at its best, that's European professional wrestling at its best. Gunther is one of the best champions right now, or the best champion right now. He is just a month away from breaking the all-time Intercontinental title record for how long of having it. So we all knew Drew was going to lose anyway. But, there was a little hope in that Gunther was going to lose. Like when Drew hit him with the Claymore, I thought it was over. I'm like, there ain't no way he's just going to lose like that. And boom, he kicked out. And then the powerbomb going into a future shock was smooth. I like how they did that. Gunther and Drew, they had a fantastic match. I hope they get a rematch sometime down the future. So I don't know what's next for Drew. I don't know if they're going to have him like a heel turn or whatever, or something like that. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do. So, now we get to Finn Balor and Seth Rollins. That match was match of the night in my eyes. There were times in that match where you feel that Seth was gonna lose that title, and then Seth kicks out. You thought there was times where Finn was gonna lose. He kicks out. Judgment Day gets involved. Seth Rollins a 4v1 on him, and Damian Priest cost Finn the match. In my opinion, Seth should not have won. The 7-year drought for Finn Balor should have ended right there. There's no reason to have this feud continue unless it involves Seth losing the title. But in that aspect of things, Finn winning would also cause more drama for Damian Priest and Finn Balor. So I feel like Finn should have won, so there could be more drama between that. But based on what I see from Monday Night Raw, it could be a different look of things. But we need to get to the semi-main event here. Bianca Belair, Charlotte, and Asuka. In my opinion, it was a really good match. Crowd was just awful. The crowd was just very dead throughout the entire match, which is terrible because I felt like the match was really good. I said a couple weeks ago I didn't think Charlotte had it in her anymore. She proved me wrong. Asuka, she proved me wrong. Bianca proved me wrong. Like, they all did what they did, and they all did it really good. And the knee spot, I thought Bianca was actually hurt. And then they kept showing the camera back to her, and I'm like, okay, she's not that hurt. No, she's going to come back and do whatever. And you know what? She did. And somehow, in the finish of the match with Charlotte having the figure 8 on Bianca, and then Asuka with the mist, and then Bianca rolling her up, that was insane. And Bianca was going to leave Ford Field as champion. And then, Sky Music hits. Bayley and take out Asuka and Charlotte, and Sky cashes in. And we have a new women's champion in Sky. That was one of the best moments of the year. Was Sky cashing in. Because last year, it's like, what are they doing with her? And in the last 4 or 5 months, it's been like, okay, we know what we're doing here with her, And you could feel that, like, that was a Triple H moment, too. Like, a lot of Triple H's guys from NXT are now champions now, and that's really perfect to see. Like I said, it was just a really good moment. Dakota Kai came in the ring. She was... it was just a good moment for everybody. Now we get to the Tribal Combat. And I'm not saying it was a bad main event. I think it was a shocking disappointment. Because coming into it, I was like, okay, we're about to get a pretty good match here. And and I'm not a fan of main events having to do like no disqualification, all that. I don't know, unless it's like a Hell in a Cell or Steel Cage or a ladder match. It's like, okay, the main event would be perfect for weapons. But if it's just like one of those no disqualification matches and it's a main event, I don't think there's really need to have any of it. Which I still enjoyed those spots in the match because it all lead up to something special. The match was alright. I felt like I was disappointed with a lot of it. And they brought in Solo too early in the match in my eyes. They should have brought him in like later. But knowing what was going to happen later, it's also another shocking with Jimmy turn on Jay. And I don't understand why Jimmy would turn on Jay. It doesn't make sense. In my eyes, at least. Like, Jimmy's the one who caused this Bloodline Civil War to happen. and then he just turns on Jay. And then on Raw, on last night, they said something about Jay or Jimmy acknowledging your tribal chief, and I'm like, what the hell? I feel like now they're just dragging it, you know? And I feel like that's what Triple H has slowly been doing with some of these rivalries, especially with the Judgment Day and Seth rivalry. They've just really been dragging it after the due date, you know? And obviously, you know, with Seth and Judgment Day, I'm hoping it's coming to an end now, based off what I seen last night. But overall, I just thought there was no reason for Jimmy to, like, because Jimmy's supposed to be hurt. So if they're gonna have Jimmy turn on him and then we don't see him for another couple of months, you know, there's no point in having it. But if they're gonna start a rivalry immediately, right now, and not have Roman deal with it, then, you know, just because the plans were seated right there, with Jimmy not wanting Jay to be tribal chief. So obviously it's there. It doesn't make sense, but it does make sense in like that same aspect. So we're just got to see how it plays out, but I just don't want them to drag it. I feel like they're just gonna drag this rivalry more and more. So let's get into Monday Night Raw review. All right, we're getting into Monday Night Raw review, and we got one hell of an episode right in front of you today. It started off with Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, talking about he can beat anybody. He feels like Brock Lesnar acknowledged him. Kind of teasing a WrestleMania with Roman next year type of thing. And Seth Rollins comes out, and Seth says, well, the last time I talked about the World Championship, you were the first man to come out. I'm here to pay the favor. And then Judgment Day comes out. And Judgment Day talking about taking Seth or whatever and all that. And then Finn Balor attacks Seth from behind. Sami Zayn comes out, helps Cody and Seth. Cody challenges them to a match, and it caused drama between Seth and Cody, because Seth does not want to team with Cody. So in that aspect, it's like, okay, let's see what we can do here. So later on that night, there was a match, which I'll talk about here in a little bit, but we need to get into the Fatal 4-Way for the number one contendership for the Intercontinental Championship. Ricochet, Ciampa, Riddle, and Chad Gable. And when I tell you, that was some perfect Fatal 4-Way stuff right there. The match was awesome. Like, that was one of the best matches to start off Raw, was right there. And, you know, they all get underappreciated. Ciampa, his promo skills, amazing. In-ring skills, amazing. Ricochet, amazing. Riddle, he has been more intense since he came back, which we love to see. Amazing. And then Chad Gable, who, in my eyes, should be challenging for Mega Star Championships already in his career, which he hasn't because of other shenanigans in the back. And the match overall I thought was good. Chad Gable won, and we get to see Chad Gable and Gunther again, and we got to see him last Monday, and I was hyped. They got 11 minutes, the best 11 minutes I've seen in my lifetime. I'm hoping that we get this match at Payback, because that would be absolutely perfect to see Chad Gable, Gunther at Payback. And if that's the case, they need at least 20 minutes. You give them 20 minutes, you're getting a 5-star match, especially from me. I don't give a damn what Dave Meltzer says, but I'm giving that match a 5-star. So let's just say that was a really good match. Shinsuke and Bronson Reed, we already seen the beef between them two before Money in the Bank. We already know what happened there. And they're just having another match tonight. And I thought the match, it was slow. It was alright. Shinsuke won. Bronson Reed, I feel like he's another guy that should be going after the Intercontinental title, but they're trying to do other stuff with him. So, and then Shinsuke, of course, he can do anything. So, match I thought overall was good. Becky Lynch came out, talked about her match next week. Zoe Stark came out, and she called herself the baddest woman on the planet. And her promo, everyone gets on her about her promos, but I thought her promo last night was good. And then when Shayna came out, I popped when Shayna came out. When I realized that we were about to get Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, I popped. I was so happy. And, they had the match. And they got good 10 minutes out of them, too. Which I am happy because I thought the match was good for what they both gave. I would like to see a future rivalry between them two. But, obviously Shayna just getting off of the stuff with Ronda. She's trying to get all of the payback all the losses that she had over the years. She's trying to get those back. Because she had a backstage thing with Becky saying she's coming after Becky at some point. Which we all know back in 2020, Shayna and Becky had a rivalry. Shayna probably should have won, but she didn't, so. After that, JD McDonough, or before anything of this happened, JD McDonough and Finn Balor were talking. Damian Priest came up to him and talked about how Finn didn't stick to the plan. Finn told him, well, you're not sticking to the plan. And, well, let's just say it didn't end up being a plan for anybody because JD came in and said, well, that Money in the Bank's getting in between both of you. Maybe you should just get rid of it. And let's say that caused some break for them too. And then this leads up to what happened later when Shinsuke was getting interviewed. He talked about, his future, and Sammy is getting attacked by JD. Sammy's elbow looked disgusting, very disgusting. Hoping Sami Zayn's okay, but that elbow really looked bad. It looked like the one from Cena back in 2013. And the main problem is now both the guys are hurt potentially. So what do they do with the tag titles, And there's nothing you can really much do with the tag titles because they're both hurt, have a tournament. I think they need to split the titles back to the brand split ways, and you just go on from there. Yes, it would be difficult in a way, but it'd be best for everyone if they just went on and did that. And, it really sucks because Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, I thought were having a good run as champions. And then this happens between both of them, so it really sucks. But I feel like they both Raw and SmackDown have enough tag teams that they can do. They can have some sort of brand split with the titles. But like I said, I don't make the rules. So, Otis and Liquid Kaiser had a match because of a backstage segment earlier in the night. Match was alright, nothing special. Liquid won. Let's say there was nothing really special. So, New Day returns. Get some positivity in ya. New Day has returned to the tag team division, and let's just say it's perfect for everybody. And it's a perfect for everybody because, and we all heard the news about Big E. Doctors are telling me he can't wrestle again. And they want to put him at color commentary, and with New Day coming back, it would be perfect for everyone. If they wanted to make it really dramatic, have New Day split up in front of Big E. Let's say that would be a big, split right there, like right in front of Big E, like during his retirement speeches, have them like turn on each other. You know, and Kofi, he is obviously a WWE Hall of Famer. Xavier Woods, potential Hall of Famer. And, we know how good they are as a tag team, but seeing them back is just really well. They've been around for almost 10 years now, so it's weird thinking that 10 years that the New Day has been around. That's just weird thinking, But. And then we get to our main event, not JD McDonough, Judgment Day versus Shinsuke, Seth, and Cody. And the match I thought was really, really well. The ending was well. At the end, Cody Rhodes and Seth shook hands and went to the turnbuckles. And then the most shocking thing happened. Shinsuke turned heel. And you could have said, anything. Like a hot take before, about a certain wrestler. And you would have said, yeah, that ain't happening. And, well, Shinsuke turn heel would be the last thing I see. I know they said they wanted to make him more intense, but I didn't expect him to go full heel on him. So now he wants to go after your World Heavyweight Championships champion Seth Rollins. And this also builds up to what happens with Damian Priest. Because now Damian Priest can cash in without having to deal with Finn Balor. And if Damian can cash in without having a match with Finn Balor, he could become champion. But you also gotta think, will Finn cost him or will JD cost him? So. But I am all in for some Shinsuke, Finn Balor, Seth Rollins stuff, so. That's all I got for you. Oh, no, I gotta get awards in today. Shoot, I totally forgot about that. Weekly awards. Match of the week. Moment of the week will be Io Sky cashing in. I already said that. That's like moment of the year. One of the best moments. Women's Wrestler of the Year. Women's Wrestler of the Week is Hikaru Shida after her shocking title victory over Toni Storm to become the new Women's Champion. Male Superstar of the Week, I'm going to CM Punk. He had a really good match with Ricky Starks, and he also had to compete with Summerslam, so, really good stuff from Punk. Show of the Week, I think Collision was the best show. I think they can consistently prove why they're the best show every week. They're going to have some competition this week with Monday Night Raw, but because Monday Night Raw, you can obviously, that you felt that was a Triple H show. So, Women's Match of the Week, Asuka, Flair, and Bianca was Women's Match of the Week. And Match of the Week, from the G1 Climax, El Phantasmo versus Will Ospreay was this week's Match of the Week. So, y'all stay hydrated, stay cool. It's hot out, so have a good day.